Good morning, students. Today, in this lecture, we will discuss about the test and measurement devices. So, first of all, in this test and measurement devices, we will see about the what about the basic equipment which is existing under the measurement equipment. So, when it comes to designing an electronic circuit, testing and measuring various parameters like current, voltage, frequency, resistance, capacitance is very important, and we have to measure these parameters frequently. Hence, the test and measuring equipment like oscilloscope, multimeter, logic analyzer, function generators are often used regularly. So first of all, we will see about the oscilloscope. The most reliable test equipment for observing continuously varying signal is an oscilloscope. So basically, oscilloscope is a display devices, and by using the oscilloscope, we can see our input and output signals in the visible format. With the help of an oscilloscope, we can observe the changes in an electrical signals like voltage with respect to the time. So oscilloscopes are used in a wide range of fields like medical, electronic, automobile, industrial and telecommunication applications. So first of all, we will see what about the CROs. CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope. So the cathode ray oscilloscope is an electronic test instrument. It is used to obtain waveform when different input signals are given. It is also a oscillograph. The oscilloscope observes the change in electrical signal over the time. Thus, voltage and time describe a shape and it is continuously graphed besides a scale. So by seeing the waveform, we can analyze some properties like amplitude, frequency, rise time, distortions, time interval, etc. So these are the features which we can observe by using the CRO. So you can see here, this is the basic CRO, basic model of our CRO. In the display screen of CRO, you have to see in the two waveforms. That is the triangular waveforms and sinusoidal waveforms. Means you can see the input and output signal simultaneously. Means in if we are seeing the CRT screen of our CRO, so there is a two modes, channel 1 and channel 2, and by using these two modes we can see what type of input signals you have to given in your CRO and what type of output signals you are achieving after processing. So these are the input and output signals which we can see on the CRO display screen. Just you can see. So before starting the CRO, we will little bit describe the CRT. So basically, what about the cathode ray tube display technology? Because CRT is the main part of our oscilloscope. So CRT is a basically display technology and is mostly used in televisions and computer screens that work on the movement of an electron beam back and forth on the back of the screen. So we have seen that when electrons movement are existing on the screen. So according to that movement of our electrons, we have visualized the scene or waveforms of our screen part. So this tube is a vacuum tube in which the flattened surface has external component as in the electron gun, electron beam and a phosphorescent screen. So what will happen here? What type of components we have to required in our, so we can see that there is a electron gun, and by using that electron gun there is a basic generation of our electrons. After then the electrons are moving towards throughout the CRT tube, and at last it will strike to the phosphor screen. So that is the basically three parts in which our CRT will work out. So there you can see in this diagram, that is the our CRT tubes. So that is a basically electron gun, and we can also call it as a cathode. And these two strips, what we have to see, these are the anodes, and we have to given the sufficient positive supply to these anodes so that they can attract the electrons, and by generating from in the electron gun, electrons are moving towards the plates by accelerating energy. So that is basically these accelerating energies crossing through the horizontal deflection plates and vertical deflection plates. So by passing these beam through these plates, and after passing these deflection plate, so we have to also apply some voltage across these horizontal deflection plates and vertical deflection plates. And after deflecting with these signals, these can be strike to the screen, so that according to that you can see here your waveforms on this screen. So that is the basic function of our CRT tube. Now you can see the basic block diagram of CRO. The following block diagram shows the general purpose CRO contraction. So what is about the block diagram, and what type of supporting circuitry we have to require for our proper working of our CRO. So in oscilloscope, CRT is the main part. It will produces the electron beam which is accelerated to the high velocity and brings to the focal point on the screen, as we have to already discuss in our CRT part. So screen produces a visible spot where electron beam strike with it. So in which places, yeah, in which particular area our electron beam are strike, and that particular area, so we can, there may be a visible spot. Okay, so that particular area will be glowing according to that particular part. So by detecting the beam above the screen, it in reply to the electrical signals, the electrons can act as an electrical pencil of light, which produces a light where it strikes. So that is a basic part of it. To complete this task, so we need to various electrical signals and voltages. So this provides the power supply circuit of the oscilloscope. So this is also a part of our block diagram. The low voltage is used for the heater of electron gun to generate the electron beam. So now you can see we have to use the low voltage for electron gun, because the by using the electron gun there is a electron beam can be generated, and that is work just like a cathode part also. And a high voltage is required for cathode ray tube to speed up the beam. The normal voltage supply is necessary for other controls of oscilloscope. So that is a basically high voltage required for cathode ray tube to speed up the beam. So we have to provide the anode part, which we have to already seen in our CRT tube. So we have to provide the high voltage to that particular area, and these will be attract our electron beams, and the velocity of our electrons beam will be raised. The horizontal and vertical plates are placed between the electron gun and screen, thus it can detect the beam according to the input signals. So we have to provide the supply to these horizontal and vertical plates. Just before detecting the electron beam on the screen in the horizontal deflection, which is in the x-axis, a constant time dependent rate and a time based generator is also given to the oscillator. These signals are passed from vertical deflection plate through the vertical amplifier. So there is also a vertical amplifier and horizontal amplifier, and it can amplify the signals to a level that will be provided the deflection of the electron beam. So that is basically If electron beam is detected in the x-axis and y-axis, a trigger circuit is given for synchronizing these two types of detection. So that is basically because x and y-axis can be synchronized. So hence the horizontal deflection starts at the same point as the input signal. So that is in the synchronized with the input signal. Now we will focus upon the working principle, how our CRO works. So CRO working principle depend on the electron ray movement because of electrostatic force. And once an electron ray hits a phosphor phase, then it makes a bright spot on it. So a cathode ray oscilloscope applies the electrostatic energy on the electron ray from the vertical waves. The spot on the phosphor monitor turns due to the effect of these two electrostatic forces which are mutually perpendicular. So it moves to make the necessary waveforms of the input signals. Now we will focus on the construction of cathode ray oscilloscope. So the construction of CRO. First one main part is the cathode ray tube. Another one is the electron gun assembly. After then there is the deflection plate, fluorescent screen for CRT and glass envelope. So that is a basically complete. Now we will focus here what type of quantities or how we can measure electrical quantity. So electrical quantities measurement by using the CRO can be done by. So quantity is just like a amplitude, time period, frequency. So you can measure the different electrical quantities. So measurement of amplitude, measurement of time period, and measurement of frequency. So it is a very important features. So first of all, we will see how you can measure the amplitude when you have to given any type of sinusoidal signals. So the display like CRO is used to exhibit the voltage signal like time function on its display. The amplitude of this signal is stable, and however we can change the number of partitions that cover up the voltage signal within vertical way by changing volts per division button on the top of the CRO board. So amplitude of signal is stable means what type of input signals we are giving to our screen, it is stable. So we can change the number of partitions that can cover the voltage signal within the vertical way. So you can only change the presentation of your signals. Okay, you cannot change actual value of signals. If you want to change the time volts per division, so if you are changing the partitions, number of partitions cover up by a signal, so that partitions will be increased. So according to that our signals may be enhanced or just size of our signal will be enhanced. So we can just change the presentation of signals, not actual value of signals. When we read that signals by using the CRO, value will be always same. If you have to apply the 5, so that application 5 board, that will not be changed, only presentation will be changed. Means you can see that particular signal either a small image, or you can see that particular signals either a enhanced image. So CRO is just a measuring devices, CRO is just a display devices. What type of input signals you have to provide it your CRO, it can only measure or display you on the screen. Format will be changed. Either you can see your signals in a small scale, or you can see your signal in the large scale, but there is no change in value of your input signals. So we will acquire the signals amplitude which is there on the CRO screen with the help of the formula. So how you can calculate the amplitude? Suppose total amplitude A, that is equal to J into NV. So what about the J? J is the volts per division. Okay, so first of all, you have to see कि what is the volts per division setting, and NV is the number of partitions that cover up the signal. So you have to calculate कि how many blocks that are covered by your signal. So you have to calculate in which particular blocks ranges your signals will be plotted. So when you multiply that signals with a number of partitions that cover up by the signals in a vertical way, then you can calculate your amplitude. So now measurement of a time period. So CRO displays the voltage signal as a function of time on its screen. So time period of that periodic voltage signal is constant, but we can vary the number of divisions that can cover one complete cycle of voltage signal in horizontal direction by varying the time per division knob on the CRO panel. So therefore, we will get the time period of the signal which is present on the screen of CRO by using the following formula. So we will see how we can measure the time period. So we can see here T that is equal to K into NH. So what about the T? T is the time period and J is the time per division value. So that is basically NH, that is the number of partitions that cover up one whole cycle of periodic signal within the horizontal way. So we are measuring the time in our horizontal way, and when we are talking about the amplitude, so we are measuring our signals in the vertical way. So NV is the number of partitions that cover up one whole cycles of periodic signals. And capital T is the time period. So when you multiply your K into NH, you can get the actual time period of that particular signal. So now what will happens when you have to measure the frequency? So on the CRO screen, the measurement of tile and frequency can be done very simply through the horizontal scale. So now what will measurement of, so how you can measure the square blocks or tiles and frequency can be done very simply through the horizontal scale. If you want to make sure accuracy while measuring a frequency, then it assists to enhance the area of signal on your CRO display so that we can more simply convert the waveforms. So that is basically, you have to enhance the area of signal on your, so there may be so many options. By changing the time per division, you can change the basic scale of signals and you can easily read that particular time period. Now initially the time can be measured with the help of a horizontal scale on the CR. Okay, so now you can measure by using the horizontal scale and counting the number of flat partitions from one finish of the signal to the other wherever it crosses the flat line. So according to that, basically number of flat partitions from one finish of the signal to another crosses the flat lines. We have to also calculate it. There may be a small divisions between the square blocks. So that may be the least count of that particular is usually zero point 0.2, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.6. So that is a basically least count is equal to 0.2. After that, we can develop the number of flat partitions through the time or division to discover the time period of the signal. So mathematically, when you can measure the measurement of frequency can be signed as frequency f that is equal to 1 upon period. So that is a f is equal to 1 by t. Now we will focus on the uses of our CRO, where we can use our CRO. So in the laboratory, the CRO can be used as it can display different types of waveforms. It can measure, so you can always see the different types of waveforms. It can measure the short time interval in voltmeter. It can measure the potential difference. So there are factors where you can use all these things so that you can see the different types of CRO. So this is a cathode ray, general purpose cathode ray oscilloscope. This is basically, this is a digital oscilloscope. Here there is a certain memory part also, and our signals can be stored for a time. But in analog CRO, we cannot store our signals. And now there is another enhanced version of mini DIB oscilloscope. So originally oscilloscope are made up of the CRT display, but most of the oscilloscopes are digital oscilloscope with advanced features like storage and memory. So in this type of digital purpose digital CRO, there is an option of our storage of our database. Now we will focus on the another measuring device that is called as a multimeter, and you also know about this multimeter. It is a very important instrument in our laboratory. So basically, multimeter is a combination of voltmeter, ammeter, and ohm meter. So initially, we are using the voltmeter devices separately, ammeter devices separately, and ohm meter devices separately for measuring the voltage, current, and resistances. But nowadays, as our technologies advance, we have to use the combined feature voltmeter, ammeter, and ohmmeter in a single device. So they provide an easy way to measure the different parameters of an electronic current circuit, like current, voltage, so on. So multimeters can measure values in both AC and DC. So there is also key multimeter can be used AC signals and DC signals. Initially, multimeters are analog and consist of a pointing needle. So there may be a pointer, but in the present scenario, we are not using the analog multimeter. Presently, we are using the digital multimeters, and it will be more precise. So now you can see your multimeter basic. These multimeters are also in our laboratory. So this is a pics of our multimeter. This is the analog multimeter in which we have a needle, but presently we are using the digital multimeter, and in this digital multimeter there is a display screen for what type of outputs we are achieving. This is the bench multimeter, and it will be used in very big laboratory where we have to measure large amount of data. Now, it is if we are talking about the electrical and electronics engineering, and is usually the first thing to be used when troubleshooting a circuit. So, multimeter can in different shapes, sizes, and the price point. There are bench multimeters, handled multimeters, and clamp multimeter in terms of different shapes and sizes. So now, irrespective of the size or price, every multimeter can measure the most basic parameters like voltage and current. But when we are talking about the modern digital multimeter, so that allows you to measure the resistance and also test for continuity. So we will see here if any circuit is break between the path. So now you can detect why your system is not working and where is the fault. So if there is a fault in line, so if line is damaged, so all thing is not working properly. So now here what will happen in modern digital multimeters, uh, there is also a test of continuity, and we can also allow to measure the resistance. So these are the extra features which is available in our multimeter part. Now using a multimeter, you can check if switch is properly working or not. So you can basically check the continuity state also. Measure the amount of current flowing through a device. Suppose there is any type of current is flowing. So by using the multimeter, you can measure the value of current. Measure the voltage of a battery. You can also measure the battery voltage, and if wire is conducting electricity or not, and there is a wire, so you can check it is capable of carrying the current or not. So now there is a parts of a multimeter. So we will see here the basic parts of multimeter. So that is the display, selection knob, ports and probes. So these are the basic four parts of our multimeter. So you can see here that that is a display, and it will be the knob, and here is the port. We will describe these basic one part by one. So the measured value, whether it is voltage or current or resistance, is displayed on the LCD display of the multimeter. So what type of readings you are achieving, it can be show to you on the display screen. You can set the parameter to measure using the selection knob at the center. So there is also a selection knob for calculating. Some advanced and slightly costly multimeters can automatically adjust the range of the value being measured. So it can automatically adjust this value. And these meters are also known as auto ranging multimeters, but in our basic meter we have to manually set the range. So that is the basically feature in our multimeter. Usually every multimeter comes with a pair of probes. So there are probes, that is in one probe is black and one probe is red. So plug in the probes into the parts of the multimeter to make a measurement. So always connect the black probe to the COM port, and the red port is usually connected to the part which label. So that is basically in this configuration we can measure AC and DC voltage and DC current in milliampere and resistance, which is what most of us will use a multimeter. So you can also see this is the probe which we have to use in our multimeter. There is also a connection, so just we can see you have to basically basic block diagram of, and we can divide this diagram into the three parts, and we will take the one by one all things. So here is it points. So you can just see it is a display now, and these will be divided. So upper part screen is the display screen. After then there is a knob. That knob will be set to the different values for measuring the voltage or current what you have to want. And third part is the ports. So there is a what type, how many ports are we are using for in multimeter. So the measured value, whether it is voltage or current or resistance, is displayed on the LCD display of the multimeter. So what type of values you have to given or you have to achieve, that will be displayed on the multimeter. You can set the parameter to measure using the selection knob at the center. So that is basically some advanced multimeters can automatically adjust the range of value, but basically when you have to start the measure any value, you have to first check the basic range of our knob. These meters are known as the ra- ranging multimeters, but in our basic meter we have to manually set the range. Now we will see every multimeter comes with a pair of probes. So there is one in red black. Plug in the probes to the port of multimeter to make a measurement, and always connect the black probe to the common port, and the red port is usually connected to the port with label V ohm milliampere. And in this configuration we can measure AC and DC current. DC current in milliampere and resistance, so which is what most of us will use a multimeter for it. So we can measure the milliampere range current. These are the probes. Now we will use the other port which is labeled as a 10 ADC to measure DC current up to the. So here is that is here liquid 10 ampere, and you have to this current have to measure up to the 10 ampere. So this is the range, this is the common point, and you have to insert your probes here. Now we will see the measuring the voltage. So using a digital multimeter, you can measure both AC and DC voltage. And the voltmeter section of multimeter is usually marked as a V, and depending on the AC and DC measurement. So there will be additional indications. DC voltage, if there is a straight line adjacent to the V, then it is used to measure the DC voltage. We plug in the correct probe into the multimeter and set the node to measure the DC voltage if they are not already plugged in. So now you can see if you want to measure the DC voltage. So according to that, we will set the DC voltage. So this is the basic symbol which we are using here to represent the DC voltage. So there is a flat line that will indicate to you the DC voltage. But there are bunch of positions in DC voltage measurement. So which one do you select? The number to which no point is to be maximum value that we can measure of that particular parameter DC voltage in this. So if you set the knob to 20 and then you can measure the DC voltage up to the 20 volt. So as you can see from the image that there are five positions associated with DC voltage. So there is a 200, 2000, 220, 200, 600. So this particular multimeter can measure a maximum DC voltage of the 600 volt. In case you want to measure the voltage of 9-volt battery, then set the knob to 20. What happens if you set the range lower than the measuring value? In this case, the LCD will display 1. So if what will happen? So there is a little bit criteria. If you start to measure the current, so in case you want to measure the voltage of 9-volt battery and then set the knob to 20 volt. So what happens if you set the range lower than the measuring value? In this case, LCD will display the 1 indicating that result has exceeded the range. Now connect the red probe to the positive terminal of the battery and black probe to the negative terminal. I took an old, suppose for measuring these DC voltage, we will take the triple A battery for testing and connected the probes as mentioned above. So the reading was 1.3 volt, which means the battery still has some charges, not waste. So here you will have to apply these two pins to this cell and then we can measure the voltage across this cell. So you can measure. So first of all, what you have to done, you have to set your knob into the DC. So this is the DC range. So first of all, you have to select what type of signals you want to measure, DC signal or AC signals, and according to that, you will measure that value. So first of all, you have to set the knob to that particular ranges, then you will start from measuring the value of your DC voltage. Now, if you want to measure the AC voltage, so what will happen here? Warning: there is a certain warning because AC signal is dangerous for us. So measure the AC voltage with extreme caution and preferably under a professional supervision. Okay, so it's not so simple; it may be risky. So make sure that probes are properly inserted into the multimeter ports without any exposed metals. So don't touch the probes by the tips. AC mains can be very dangerous. So this is a warning for students. You have to always remember when you are working on the AC signals. So if in doubt, better not to use multimeter for AC mains voltage measurement. So because in main supply there is a very high voltage are existing. So the sine wave symbols adjacent to the V indicates the AC voltage measurement. As you can see from the image, this particular multimeter can measure the AC voltage up to the 600 volt and has only two range selections positions 200 and 600. Now to measure the AC mains voltage, set the knob to 600 because in AC voltage measurement, so V with a sine wave. I choose the 600 because my main supply is 240 volt. So always set the knob for AC voltage measurement before inserting the probes. So before starting or before putting your points into the actual measurement, you have to first select the multimeter for this particular range. So now insert the probes into the socket and you can see the measured AC voltage displayed on the LCD. So you can see here, just you can see this, you want to measure the signal from your AC socket. So that is the it will be very precautionary based. You have to take the very precautions for measuring the AC signals. Now we come to the measuring the currents. So after measuring the voltage, now we will move towards the measuring the current. So two different points of the circuit measuring current is quite different. If you remember basic circuit theory, then you might remember that current in components connected in series is the same. So if you want to measure the current in any circuitry, you have to connect that particular multimeter in the series format. And using this principle, we have to make the multimeter a part of circuit so that same current passes through the multimeter as the component. Now a ammeter section of multimeter is indicated by a symbol A, and another important point to note is that digital multimeter can only measure the DC current. So there will be a straight line adjacent to A to indicate the DC current measurement. So this is a part where we can measure the current, and this is indicated as a ampere, and we not always use the AC current. Generally we are using the DC current, so that is a basic symbol of our DC signal. Now what about the DC currents? To measure the DC current, set the knob of multimeter to the DC current measurement, and this particular multimeter can measure the DC current from few microampere to the 200 milliampere, and this range is sufficient for measuring the current in the LED part. So we can select this particular range for measure the current value. So now you can see here the diagram. There we have to apply LED. There is a resistance so that otherwise your LED may be destroyed due to the supply. And there is a common point, and now you can V ohm milliampere, that is a point for a current measurement of our current. Now you will set the range of 200 milliampere and connected the multimeter as the following point. So consider the multimeter in ammeter mode as essentially a wire through which current flow to the main circuit. In this configuration, multimeter becomes a part of the circuit, and if you disconnect any probe, then the circuit will not work. The measured current is displayed on the LCD. So you can see here. Now measuring resistance, you can also measure the resistance by using the multimeter. So one of the easiest measurement you can perform using a multimeter is that of a resistance. And the ohm meter section of the multimeter is represented by this ohm symbols, and this meter can measure the resistance up to the 2 mega ohm. So that this part is represented in our multimeter just like a ohm. You can see here. Set the knob to the desired range in the resistance measurement and connect the probes to the lead of the resistor and measure the resistance that will be displayed. So now we will move to the function generator or signal generator. And what is the role of function generator or signal generator in our circuitry? So a signal generator, as the name suggests, generates a variety of signals for testing and troubleshooting electronic component. So the most common types of signals are triangular wave, sinusoidal wave, cosine wave, square wave, and sawtooth wave. So there are the different types of waveforms that can be generated by our function generator. So that's the part of function generator. Here we will also see a little bit part which we have to uh, testing continuity, in which we have to forget the testing continuity. But about the extra features which will be provided in our digital multimeter, and that is the testing continuity. So perhaps most frequently used and one of the easiest function of multimeter is continuity test. So it is used to test the continuity from point A to B. So you have to whether a wire is conducting or not, and whether a switch is properly functioning or not. So you have to done connectivity. Is that particular point is not disconnected, and due to this there is not flow of current. So that continuity test. So what will be here? Generally it will be marked as a speaker. So just you can see in this diagram. So that is marked as a continuity equations. So when you put your knob in the continue mode, to set the knob to test for continuity and connect the probes across a wire. So if wire is in good condition without any breakage, then you will hear a continuous buzzer. So there is a continuous sound will be here to you, and that means your wire will be proper connected. And if there is any problem in wire, you can't hear any type of signal. So continuity test works. So continuity test is essential a low resistance measurement, and if the resistance between 2 points is very less, very few ohms, then these 2 points are considered to the electrically connected and buzzer starts the sound. Now we will focus on the diode test. So as a bonus, let's see the diode test features of multimeter. So some multimeters have dedicated diode testing. So functionality which can be useful for checking the diodes and some special type of transistors. As a transistor is essentially a two diodes are connected back to back. So there is basically a features. So in multimeter, so as a bonus, let's see the diode test feature of multimeter, and that is the combined features dedicated diode testing functionality, which can be useful for checking the diode, and some special type of transistors. As a transistor is essentially a two diodes that will be connected to back to back. So to test a diode, set the knob to the diode test and connect the red probe to the anode of the diode. Okay, so red probe will be connected to the anode part of diode, and black probe connected to the cathode part of the diode. So if diode is working properly, the multimeter will display the forward voltage drop across the diode. Okay, so how you can see these forward voltage drop? Just in multimeter you will find the reading. So that about the our devices which we are working on this way. So now little bit we have to move to the basic objective questions. So now what about the CRO and what type of signals we are using in duration, that working part of that. So their error measurement by making use of a CRO. So many characteristics of a signal can be measured. Only a few characteristics of signal can be measured. So there is a what is the role of your CRO? So you can see here how is error is measurement reduced. So there is a error measurement. Amplitude of your signals voltage is given by which of the following relations. Okay, so you can see here that particular part in this section. You can see how we can connect the ammeter in series or parallel. So you have to know about how ammeter is connected with the circuitry part. Now again, ammeter should have internal resistance of ammeter should either high or very low. So you have to know about it. And that is a very basic question which we have to discuss in our lecture. So you have to just remind this one. Voltmeter is connected in a dash with the circuit components across which potential difference is to be measured. So you have to know how we will connect our voltmeter in circuit. Voltmeter should have, so you have to know the idle values of your voltmeter also. So that will be the basic value of your voltmeter. So that is the zero, very high, very low, and none of the above. So that is a basically key how you can connect your devices. Means either you want to use the ammeter or you want to your voltmeter or you will basically adjust your multimeter with help of these two values, either voltmeter or ammeter. So how you can connect these two devices in our circuitry? So you have to know about it. Which one will we will connect it in series or which will in the connect by using the probes by using we can connect it into the parallel path also. So what about the these connections? Why we are working on these connections? So first of all, you have to know peak to peak voltage is given. So how you can measure these values? This is a very important point. So when you measure, so what about the role of your different square sections of our uh, screen of CRO? So that is a volts per division, time per division. So that is a basically divisions, partitions. We are working on that particular partitions. So we have to know about all these things. We have in this lecture we have study about the CRO. What about the CRO? What about the multimeter? What is the function generator? So if you are talking about the function generator, so you have to know there is a requirement of a signals. Okay. So now what you have to done? There is a basic requirement of generating the signal, and by using that function generator, we can generate the signals, either sinusoidal signal, either square wave signals. So these two signals are very important when we have to require this signal. So it is important that your measuring devices will be measure that particular values. So I think it will be better how why we are using the function generator, why we are using the CRO, and why we are using the multimeter, and how we can read the AC and DC values by using the multimeter. So I think it will be clear to you. You are comfortable. Okay, thank you.